And this is an open message to the Honorable Senator John McCain, also Republican presidential candidate for the United States. And of all people, Senator McCain, we wanted to get this message to you because of anyone that we could think of. This story will hit home with you, as you have been subjected to very much the same thing. There's an individual, one of our citizens, a former New Jersey police officer, that moved to Canada in 2000. He stumbled upon, next door where he moved, crime taking place that involved the Durham Police Department. Being a police officer that he was, he continued to watch. They caught on to the fact that he was knowledgeable of the crime they were partaking in. He was taken, thrown into the back of a police car, beaten profusely, taken to an old prison that has since been torn down. This was in 2000. He was kept there for 2 years. During the first few months of that incarceration, illegal incarceration, where he could committed no crime, no charge, completely illegal incarceration. His crime was witnessing a crime. He was subjected to torture for months, kept into the lower levels of this old prison, which amenities couldn't even be referred to as amenities, merely portals for rodents and roaches to come and go. He was kept at times in cages the size that you would put a dog. The cockroaches, after a period of time, become your friends. They would feed him food intentionally with human feces in it. And after enduring hunger, you eat it. And you vomit profusely, never getting the proper nutrients. Then occasionally they drag him out, and they would hook a hose to a heated radiator and wash him down with scalding water so hot that the skin on his body would blister. But after a period of being in such dank conditions and filth, you look forward to it in spite of the pain, only to be thrown back into the depths of the filth. And before long, you long for that day, even though the water is scalding and you're going to be blistered. You cherish the thought of it. And I'm sure you can relate to that, sir, having been subjected as a prisoner of war yourself to such conditions and treatment. After 2 years, he was moved to another prison, a maximum security prison. And you know as well as I do, you do not mix ex-police officers in general population. Not only did they do that, but they put a sign above his cell proclaiming that he was an ex-police officer. Oh, they gave him ample opportunity to commit suicide. And he hung on to the thought, I'm an American and I'm not going to let them get the best of me. That shows patriotism and courage. I'm sure you can appreciate it. I'm sure that is the very thoughts that were going through your mind during your imprisonment. Soon, the higher authorities, I guess equivalent to our FBI, caught on to some criminal activity in Durham with the Durham police. And the name of Scott Loper came up and they had to get rid of him. Because neither had he committed suicide, but by the grace of God, none of the prisoners killed him. Could you imagine waking every day knowing it's going to be your last? Involved in all this if that's not bad enough, Scott Loper's 3-year-old son is missing as a result of it. His fate is still unknown today. But when the higher authorities started investigating the Durham Police Department, they had to get rid of Scott Loper. So they dumped him on the border, hands and feet shackled, and just left him there. Soon after, he went to Congressman Hoyer and to the State Department in search of help. Not once during his incarceration, which was illegal, as he had committed no crime, was he given access to an American embassy or a consulate. When he went to the State Department and Congressman Hoyer, Canada claimed that he had never even lived in the country, much less been incarcerated. But by the grace of God, Scott was able to come out with a slither of paper to prove he had been there. And when presented with it, the Canadian government said, "Oh, that's Scott Loper." Then they presented the State Department with a phony document dated 3 years after his initial incarceration, stating that Scott had waived his rights. It wasn't a forged document. It didn't even have a signature on it. But Congressman Hoyer and the State Department were more than happy to oblige the Canadian government and accept it. Therefore, Scott Loper is yet to receive justice. Article 36 of the Vienna Convention is blatantly violated. And we've got the unknown fate of a child to this day. No action taken. Well documented in the State Department. All the documents are on the site scottloperstory.com, or you can go to our site at usa180.org, or contact S. Scott Shields, Scott Loper's attorney. But I'm sure you can retrieve those documents from either Congressman Hoyer or either the State Department as they have them. Sir, I have told Scott Loper on many occasions, if anybody did not know about this, it was you. Because you can relate to this, because you've been through it. You know the horrors, you know the pain, and I'm sure you still probably suffer the nightmares, as Scott does. On top of that, add not knowing the fate of, at the time, a 3-year-old son, who now would be 11, and we're in prayerful hope he is out there somewhere. And I read many of your quotes from the past, and I'll just be very brief. You've said that we need reform in Washington. It was broken. Would you not agree, sir, that this would be a good place to start? You had said our conscience influences other countries. Will our conscience influence this situation? You had said in 2007 that hiding torture is wrong and harms the U.S.'s credibility throughout the world. I concur. And I think you would too, sir. You said that Reagan knows that you stick by your principles, and I know Reagan was one of your role models. And I think you would agree, Ronald Reagan would have already rendered justice for Scott Loper. You have also stated in 1999 that public officials have failed to set an example for our society. I agree. Will you set the new standards, sir? Will you go forth and reclaim our name in the eyes of the world as the leaders and protectors of rights, liberties, and freedom? But we cannot do that until we get justice for Scott Loper. A horrendous and blatant violation of Article 36 of the Vienna Convention. A poor child missing. No action. You spoke in 1973 as you returned from the Vietnam War and being a prisoner of war. and you spoke. You were received as a hero, both by the people and the government. Scott Loper was a prisoner, not of war, and not of being a criminal. Neither has he received honor from the people. He hasn't even received the support of our government, sir. I've told Scott, and I'll say it again, that once Senator McCain hears of this, he will act.